Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll recap you on a busy home weekend for the Ferris State Bulldogs as we check in with Bulldog football, hockey, and volleyball. We'll start first, though, with Bulldog football and joined by offensive line coach and a former television alum here at Ferris State University, Sam Parker. And Sam, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be here. Really humbling experience and couldn't be happier.
Before we get into this past week's game, just talk about what it's been like for you to come back to Ferris State as an alum, working with the offensive line here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's been a real honor. I haven't been to many places that have felt like home like Ferris State has. I've been to Washington, D.C. and Baltimore in my time since graduating and worked at Davenport. And to be back here at Ferris State it's really humbling and it's really like being with my family again.
As we go to this past week's game, obviously a big challenge as you took on the Tiffin Dragons, a team that came in with a very good record at 4-1 and a team that had been playing well. Yeah,
they had actually won their last 12 out of 16 games, and they were one of the top teams in the GLIAC. From my perspective, coaching the offensive line, we like to stop people from getting to our quarterback, and these guys were the best in the league at doing so. They had the most sacks and the most turnovers, so it was a really, really good defense that we were going against. And the score shows.
As we go to some of the highlights of the game, you mentioned that a defensive battle. It seemed like points were hard to come by here in this contest.
Yeah, absolutely. Our guys, played pretty hard and worked very hard. But I mean, it's a quality defense and a quality ball club. But you look at the first play here, we really rattled one off. And our guys think that we're going to be rolling, but you got to humble yourself and you got to really remember that. This is one of the best teams in our conference, top GLIAC team when we play them.
Certainly, with some of the offensive struggles, it was nice to see a big performance from the defense.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the things that has been incredible this year is how well our defense has played. They held them to 40 yards rushing. I mean, you don't see those kinds of statistics too often. So our defense played lights out, and, really bailed us offensively out of a hole.
We'll see Tiffin here on their one scoring drive of the day as you break up the pass here near the goal line, held them to a field goal here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, I mean, they started off and you think that it's going to be, a high-scoring game with the way the offenses were moving down the field in the first two series, and then our defense just, starts getting tackles in the backfield and really holding their own. It was a really terrific performance.
Kind of back and forth here in the first half. Neither offense really able to do a whole lot. You mentioned moving the football a few times, but you'll finally get some points here in the second quarter on a field goal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that's been one of the most underrated things. Aside from our defensive line killing it as our PAT field goal, we just had our guy Wyatt Ford named Special Teams Player of the Week at the conference, and mainly because he's only missed one kick this whole year, and that was a 50-plus yarder at Ashland. So he's been lights out.
You mentioned special teams. Obviously, you pin him back there. Tiffin will break a big play here, but when the defense needed to, they certainly came up and made some huge stops for you.
Absolutely. And the main thing is they always say like iron sharpens iron, and I think it's it's credit to our guys competing in practice, but their willingness to fight and play through broken plays. If you look at this one, I mean the old line's blocking for 7 seconds on this and managed to get off a great play there.
Good, Travis Russell for staying with that play, and then here he finds Malik Taylor as you get down here in the third quarter and start to move the football as you go into the third quarter, and you'll finally get a touchdown.
Yeah, a lot of that credit is due to our offensive line. Senior captain Jake Doherty at center really holds his own and really has played exceptional the last 2 weeks. He's been that kind of guy that has been the poster child, which is really rare for an offensive lineman to be that kind of guy. But he really played outstanding the last 2 games.
376 yards of total offense. Big play here to Deion Earls that will set up a field goal here to account for the final scoring at 13-3.
Yeah, and at this point, we're driving to kick the field goal, and as soon as our PAT and field goal team came out on the field, it felt almost automatic with the momentum and how well they've played.
Here late in the contest, you had some big stops, and we'll see one here near the goal line, a big fourth down play here by the defense.
Yeah, Jaleel Canty, Sam right there, sprints into the backfield and makes a heck of a play and really stones these guys. It was a terrific stop. It's one of the best defensive performances I've ever been a part of or seen. I mean, to hold a team down 4th and 1 on the 1-yard line and to only limit 1 field goal, it was a really terrific day out there, man. Really good.
Certainly, maybe offensively not the performance you wanted at times, but always nice to come away with a win as you move to 4-1 on the year.
I think the biggest thing from that game offensively that you take away is we didn't turn the ball over. You look at the Ashland game where we turned the ball over 3 times, and the outcome was we gave them 17 points. So this week, you know, our credit to our running backs, Jahan Brown and Robert Thomas and those other guys that touch the ball a lot, they haven't fumbled. They've done a great job with ball security and making sure that we at least punt the ball to the other team instead of throwing an interception or fumble.
This week, back on the road, one home game in the month of October as you travel to Saginaw Valley. Just talk about going to Saginaw Valley and what it's going to be like this Saturday.
Yeah, and I think the really cool thing about our conference is in October, every week, like last week against Tiffin, it was a top team matchup. It was the top team in the GLIAC versus the second top team in the GLIAC. And now the next week, it's rivalry week. It's an interstate game, Saginaw Valley versus Ferris State. They've always played us tough. We've always, had great matchups in this game. You look all the way back through the 90s and plus. It's always been a, historic event. So October football in the GLIAC is pretty awesome that we get to see those matchups every week.
Coming back after playing on the offensive line here for Ferris State, how have you tried to take those experiences and help the guys that are playing up front right now?
Yeah, my job is easy because I just reflect on the mistakes I made in college all the way through, everything I did, and try to educate my guys. The biggest thing is like nutrition and taking care of your body. I did not do that successfully in my time here. Since getting done with football, I've really made an effort for that. So I really try to instill that on my guys. And some of them, like my left tackle, Bo Johnson, he's a really big guy, really heavy dude, so it's really tough to, make sure that he's eating appropriately and working out appropriately. And, my undersized guys and my younger guys, like we just played 2 redshirt freshmen that game, Jake Boonstra and Dylan Pasquale. So the quicker, the better you can educate those guys on how to do things right, and the mistakes I made, the better our offensive line is going to be.
You mentioned some of those younger guys. Obviously, injuries always play a factor in football, and you've had some up front. How have those younger guys stepped up and made some key plays for you?
Incredible, incredible. Last week, we played 1 guy that's going to graduate for us. That means there's a lot of underclassmen. And when you have that, and most teams, that's a death sentence. For us, our guys rose to the occasion. Only 5 times did somebody even touch the quarterback in that game. We threw the ball 35 times. So that's an incredible statistic that those guys should be, happy about. And the fact that, you're playing down 3 projected starters from camp, and those guys just to be, I'm the next man up. I'm going to do my job and do it the best I can. It's incredible. It's really, it's really awe-inspiring.
Well, Sam, certainly congratulations on the win. Best of luck this week, and hope it's been fun being back on the TV set here today.
Oh, this is awesome. Best moment of my life right now, man.
We're looking forward to continued work here with the Bulldogs.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.
The need for experienced educators is greater than ever. Ferris State University's School of Education is here to fulfill that need. At Ferris, students have the opportunity to choose from over 20 focuses while gaining first-hand field experience. Ferris State University, preparing the next generation of teachers who will shape the young minds of the future. For more information, go to ferris.edu/education.
Wow, you can get a 14-inch pizza with 1 topping for only $5.99 at Mancino's?
Action.
Hi, I'm Tony Presimoli from Tony's Basement Pizzeria, and our pizza is not that terrible. We may not have a 14-inch for $5.99, or great daily specials like a grinder combo for $6.99 with chips and a drink, or a small calzone combo. I also can't compete with the 10% discount that Ferris students have. You know what? I quit. If you want quality food, call Mancino's.
At Ferris State University, be a provider. Be an investigator. What do you want to be?
Be a Bulldog!
Visit ferris.edu today.
Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog hockey. With us, head coach Bob Daniels. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here, Rob.
This past weekend, the Bulldogs kick off the season. You played your first action. Maybe not the start you wanted, but certainly you got a great finish to the weekend as you earned the split against Western Michigan.
Yeah, interesting in the first game, the 6-1 loss to Western. I walked out of the rink feeling pretty good for a team that had lost 6-1. I thought we had played a fairly inspired game early on. It was 1-0 at the end of one. It was 2-0 early in the second. That was one that really hurt us on a turnover. But we had created a lot of opportunities, Rob. That game, we could have easily been up in that game. And at the end of the night, they scored 4 power play goals. Well, I know our penalty kill is going to be good. Coach Kaufman's in charge of it. 2 of the power play goals he scored were on line rushes after we had a great chance to score a shorthanded goal. They were easy fixes, in other words. So, you know, while we lost 6-1 on the bus ride home, I'm thinking, hey, we're going to be okay here. We got a good chance of winning tomorrow night, and of course we did. So it wasn't the start we necessarily wanted, but I certainly wasn't deflated like I normally would be in a game where you lose 6-1 to start the season.
As we go to the highlights, we'll start with Friday's game down in Kalamazoo, and always a tough place to play at Lawson Ice Arena.
It is. It's a very difficult place, and the two teams are pretty equal, realistically. The split was probably the right outcome on the weekend because the two teams are pretty close. Even though we're no longer in the same conference with them, it's a rivalry that's been going on for 40 years, and it's, you know, it's important for both teams to win. Justin Capmaster had a tough night here. I think he made a lot of really good saves, but his rebound control wasn't up to what we had seen, and certainly, you know, it didn't help that they did get 4 power play goals against us.
You got just the 1 goal, but you had some opportunities. Obviously, the shots were close, and you had a big advantage in the third period.
Yeah, the shots were close, and we hit a couple goal posts early in the game where it could have been a completely different outcome. Now, we did get, you know, one of the things, the bright spots I thought, too, of the not only the weekend, but certainly this game, was the play of some freshmen that we got in there. I thought Lucas Finner and Cole Norris and Marshall Moyce, 3 forwards for us. It's been a while since we've had freshmen step in and see the minutes that they played on the weekend, and some important minutes, and they were productive minutes for us.
As you came back to Saturday's game, what were some of the keys you felt going into Saturday's contest to try to get the split on the weekend? Yeah,
Rob, you know what? The probably the number one thing was that we had to do a better job of penalty killing. And part of the problem we had is the guys were very anxious to score. It was almost like we were too offensive minded. And, you know, on the penalty kill, if you can get a shorthanded goal, wonderful. But the number one objective is let's get this thing killed. And, you know, I think they were 4 for 6 on Friday night on their power plays. And then we turned around and held them, I believe, 1 for 10 on Saturday. There's the difference.
As we go to Saturday's highlights, obviously a great crowd here for the home opener, and always nice to play in front of the home fans.
Rob, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, you can see the pep band in the corner, and you know what people sometimes don't realize is that, you know, those guys played earlier in the afternoon at the football game, and now here they are at the hockey game, as well as people like yourself and then our fans. I mean, it was, you know, between volleyball, football, hockey, it was all happening. It's wonderful because the campus is alive. But people put in a lot of hours, and we're very appreciative of the pep band as well as our students. They support all the different teams, and that's wonderful.
Got off to a good start, Andrew Durantes, with the early goal, and then he took a 1-0 lead going into the second period.
Yeah, we did. We had a 1-0 lead. Thought it could have been more. You know, we had some great chances. Here they were pressing us, and then a great feed by Drew Durantes, Tyler's brother, to Mitch Maloney. And, you know, the other thing we did was kind of challenge our seniors because some of their better players the night before had big games offensively, and it was good to see our guys break through and some of our quote-unquote top-line players have some offensive production that night.
Took a 2-1 lead after Western Michigan with a late goal there in the second, but you had a big performance from Darren Smith in that.
Yeah, he played well. Both goalies played exceptionally well, I thought. Both goaltenders, beyond just making good saves. By the way, here's Cole Norris's first career goal, game winner. And really a great second effort goal for him. Like I said, the freshman had a lot to do with it. But both goaltenders, to answer that question, they played terrific in this game.
Certainly, Darren Smith had to make some key saves for you here down the stretch.
Yeah, he did. He made key saves. His crease maintenance was good. He killed a lot of pucks, meaning he smothered pucks when we needed. You know, there was times we were stuck in our own zone. Here's one that squeaked by him. I know he'd like to have that back, but he played so well. And just like that, he gloved it. He got the whistle, and there was time. This was about 4 seconds to go. We were shorthanded. A really good play right there by Drew Mayer to force the guy to cough up the puck.
3-2 the final score, and 2 games this weekend that really help prepare you for WCHA play, which starts this week.
Yeah, you're right, and we're facing a Northern Michigan team with a coaching change, and you know, so there's going to be some energy there. They split with Lake Superior State on the weekend. They've got 2 lines that are probably as offensive and as good as any 2 we'll see in our conference play. So this should be a good challenge again, and I really appreciate the games against Western Michigan because, and hopefully we did the same for them. They were so hard fought for 2 games to start the year. Was good for both teams.
As you take on Northern Michigan this weekend here at home, talk about some keys going in against the Wildcats.
Yeah, well, I think we want to see continued improvement on our penalty kill, and we will see that. We certainly want to see improvement on our power play. Now, we were held 0 for the weekend, and that's not good enough. So that's an area that we need to improve upon. Part of the issue with that is it takes time for the power plays to sometimes come together. Corey Mackin had limited practice because he was coming off of surgery. He wasn't even really scheduled to play this weekend, but he recovered so quickly from that surgery, we were able to play him. But he's a big part of the power play. So, you know, it's going to take a little while for that all to come together, but it's something that needs to improve, though, because it's tough in college hockey to score a lot of goals 5-on-5.
How important is it here to have these 2 games at home this weekend with a long road stretch coming up after that?
Yeah, we're gonna be some road warriors, so we've got to take advantage of the 2 games here at home. With that said, though, you know, Northern Michigan's going to come in with a different game plan, but we do get a lift. You can tell the student section, our crowd on Saturday night was terrific, and it gave us a big lift, and we would expect to get the same this weekend.
You hope going into this second weekend that a lot of your freshmen that saw their first action continue to grow as you move forward.
Yeah, I do, and we've got some players that didn't dress this weekend, some due to injuries. We don't want to force them in the lineup, but we've got some pretty good players in reserve too. So we're a deep team right now. I think within, you know, give us 10 games and I'll have a real good feel of how far this team can go. But I would say early indicators to me say that we've got the potential to be a pretty darn good team this year, Rob.
Well, Coach, congratulations again on the win Saturday night. Best of luck this weekend at home against Northern Michigan on Friday and Saturday.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.
At Ferris State University, be a designer. Be an informer. Be a maker. Visit ferris.edu today.
Cuts back to the right side, breaks a tackle, touchdown! Landing the diagonal, Mackin shoots and scores! Corey Mackin off the rebound! Run to Williams, back to Cusingberry, 3-pointer up and good! The tournament champion. Ferris State with a huge win!
Come rise with us. For more information, visit ferrisstatebulldogs.com.
At Ferris State University, we're more than our student to faculty ratio.
More than our variety of programs, our internship rate,
or our number of student organizations.
Here, you're never just a number.
You can be yourself and be focused on your goals.
Be inspired every day and be ready for tomorrow.
Be a bulldog. Go to ferris.edu.
Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog volleyball, and with us head coach Tia Branda-Wilhelm. Coach, welcome to the show.
Great, thanks. Thanks for having us here.
A tough weekend this past weekend for you as you took on the top 2 teams in the GLIAC South, and certainly a highly competitive weekend of volleyball.
It sure was. It obviously didn't turn out exactly the way we wanted it to, but it was a lot of good volleyball for sure.
Certainly got off to a great start on Friday night, taking on Grand Valley State. Always a lot of energy and momentum goes into that rivalry match against the Lakers.
Yeah, it's unusual because we've been travel partners with Grand Valley for as long as I've been at Ferris, and so it's just a little bit unusual to play them, not during the week and as part of another weekend. So that was a little bit different for the team, for both teams, I think, to get used to that different scheduling.
As we go to some of the highlights of Friday's match, a great crowd on hand and obviously a nice performance by your team to open the weekend against the Lakers.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was great. We had, tons of student athletes were there. It was very full stands, lots of people from the community, and a very enthusiastic crowd. They were definitely watching the game and excited about the different parts of the game.
Talk about the challenges of playing Grand Valley, a team that likes to utilize a lot of different players.
They do. They have a very deep team, and they're very aggressive at the net. They're very aggressive blocking and with their offense. So every time they make a switch with a player, you have to really switch up your mindset and how you're going to be defending that player. So it definitely is a big challenge.
You get the 3-0 sweep before it's all said and done, but some tight matches here and some tight sets here in this match.
Yeah, it was definitely tighter than a 3-0 looks. Just with the offense that they're bringing, I felt like they at times really had a lot of opportunity to just swing away at a less than formed defense. But over time though, I thought that our defensive performance definitely played well and was able to kind of mold them into and help them. I guess mold them into maybe hitting some of the things that we were ready to defend.
Speaking of the defense, Lauren Reminga with 26 digs, nice performance from her.
Yeah, that was pretty key. I thought that, and I thought our serving was pretty strong. So that definitely was able to take them out of their offense a little bit at times too.
Maria Croner right there with the kills. She had 14 kills, kind of leading the way for you up front.
Yeah, Maria's been working really hard to, just be up and available as a middle hitter and the first tempo hitter, and definitely been consistently performing through us through the year.
You get the victory here over Grand Valley State, 25-17 in the first set, and then a couple close ones, 25-20, both in the second and third frames. How nice was it to get out of there in 3 sets?
For sure. We were glad to come out in 3. It was, I could have gone either way in the middle of a couple of those sets. And again, I think our serving was really aggressive, and that was able to kind of push them out of their comfort zone a little bit. And then, just the fact that we were able to be in a better ball coming back and transitioning back at them.
You mentioned a little bit different with Grand Valley State as you get ready to play the next match. Not used to playing somebody maybe after you've taken on the Lakers.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was different. And to play the number 1 and number 2 teams in the South the same weekend, I thought we were, definitely ready for Wayne State when they came in. We just didn't necessarily execute the things that we wanted to execute.
As we go into the highlights of the Wayne State match on Saturday, you mentioned Wayne State, a team that was coming in off a hard loss the night before.
Yeah, they did. They had lost 3 in a row actually, and were undefeated leading the South. And then by the time they got into the gym, they were tied for first in the South. I think they're just, they have a couple of younger players, and they're just trying to, find their way. Even in the losses, though, it was. They're just trying to find their way a little bit. They're a very good team. We've known that since last year, that they would be a very good team this year. So it was definitely, what we expected was the offense and the defense that they had coming against us.
Just a match that maybe for a coach not quite so fun, but obviously for the fans, a tightly contested match that was back and forth that went to 5 sets.
Yeah, going to 5 sets is great. It was very back and forth, and none of the sets were really, blowouts or anything. It was definitely a lot of back and forth and close games, so I think that would be exciting for both, for the fans and for the players too, to be in a match that's so close like that.
You got the first set 25-14, and then they'll take the next 2 sets. What were some of the keys going from that first set to the second set that you thought turned around?
I thought we stopped doing the things that we were trying to do in our game plan. I thought that was a really big part of it. And then Wayne State, I felt like their backs were up against the wall, and they just they were ready to swing. They just came out aggressively, and they were just going to do whatever they had to do. And some of their, they got some kills off of some pretty aggressive swings in some pretty bad situations. And, those are kind of 50-50 kills. Sometimes they're going to go out, sometimes they're going to land in, and they got a couple that landed in, and I thought that really turned the momentum around for them.
Credit to your kids as well. You trailed 2-1, but you won a big 4th set, forcing the 5th set right here.
Yeah, I thought our team played hard the whole night. So even though the outcome wasn't what we wanted, we were down in the game. We weren't playing our best, but we were still playing hard. And that's really what you want to see in a team, because you know that over time, over the course of a season, if you continue to play hard like that, most games are going to go your way eventually. So we got to really be excited about that.
I know obviously the schedule doesn't get any easier this weekend.
No.
You head to Aurora, Illinois for the Midwest Regional Crossover, the nation's largest volleyball tournament. Talk about what's going to take place this week.
It is just phenomenal. It's such an amazing tournament. You have 3 conferences, all very strong. All 3 conferences have teams in the national rankings and in the getting votes area, that are really strong teams. And it's a seeded tournament, so the teams, the high seeds play each other, the middle seeds play each other, and the lower seeds play each other. So it's very competitive. The games are every game is a close game usually, and it's very exciting. It's high stress and high excitement all at the same time. So it's a great environment, and it's a great weekend because we get to cheer for the GLIAC. You're hoping always that the other GLIAC teams do well, and you're cheering for them for a change. So it's kind of neat to see that.
Bulldogs, the #1 seed out of the GLIAC, facing 3 teams, Hillsdale, Indianapolis, and then obviously another top 10 team in the country in Lewis. Just talk about the 3 opponents you'll see this weekend.
They're great, really good teams. Lewis is probably the #1 team in the nation right now. They are, they just have offense coming from every corner of the court. Very, very aggressive team. And then, you have Hillsdale, who we obviously know quite well from the years in the GLIAC, and they have. They've had a couple injuries early on, but all their players are back and healthy. So, that's going to be just another great close match, as it always is with them. So, and Indianapolis is a team that, they brought in a few transfers this year, and they just turned their whole team around. They just have such, they're very fast-paced and very aggressive in what they're doing now. So it's going to be 3 really different matches and 3 really tough opponents.
Well, Coach, best of luck to the Bulldogs this weekend as you take part in the Midwest Regional
Thank
Crossover.
You.
That's going to do it for Ferris Sports Update. Reminder, you can follow all the action, get all the results online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Have a great week.